This girl accidentally transmigrates into a dark R19 novel. Where the main characters eliminate each other to survive, she craves victory and is determined to succeed. She plans to nurture the female lead to stop the demon-possessed villain from destroying the world. However, just as her plan is about to succeed, that crazed and sinister villain unexpectedly reforms and begins to pursue her intensely. The original novel she entered is riddled with plot holes. The author dropped it halfway through, leaving behind a tangled mess of a story. In the chaotic original story, the two princes of the empire are locked in a war for the throne. The first prince, Damian, is seen by the world as a benevolent and perfect ruler, but in reality, he is obsessive, insane, and cruel. To obtain divine power, he doesn't hesitate to imprison the female lead, becoming the true final villain of the entire story. The second prince, Freed, is the actual male lead. After Freed wins the war and claims the throne, a defeated Damian, unable to accept reality, brazenly launches a rebellion. Levi Heron is the unlucky side character who dies during that rebellion. She is the only daughter of the Heron Knight family, inheriting their unique divine power, but has been frail and sickly since childhood, with no voice in her own house. In the original story, Levi fruitlessly pursues the male lead, and after the first prince's rebellion, she is quickly written out of the plot. Fortunately, the rebellion is 3 years away, giving her enough time to straighten out her family and change the course of the story. Just then, a knock sounds at the door. The person who enters is her uncle Aaron, the original Levi's mother died early, and her father travels abroad year-round, so she used to rely heavily on this uncle. She knows full well that he is the main cause of the Heron family's downfall in the future. The first step to changing her fate starts with him. On the surface, Levi acts close and obedient, but she secretly gathers evidence of his embezzlement and corruption of the family's assets. Once the evidence is undeniable, she personally leads men to arrest Aaron. Seeing his scheme exposed, Aaron drops his fake persona. But the current Levi has already begun cultivating her divine power. In the blink of an eye, she subdues him. The first Baron Heron was actually the divine beast, the White Lion, who once assisted the former emperor in slaying demons. That pure divine power has been passed down through generations, finally converging in Levi. Faced with this power, everyone in the family must bow to her command. After restraining Aaron, the after-effects of her weak body kick in. As Levi stumbles, the butler promptly steps forward to support her and reveals the past. It turns out everyone in the mansion had long realized Aaron's malicious intentions. However, the original Levi was too dependent on her uncle, and they feared the truth would worsen her fragile health. So, they could only protect her in secret. Now, seeing her take the initiative to clean house, they unanimously name her the acting head of the family. At the same time, they present an academy acceptance letter they found in Aaron's possession. Imperial law dictates that all nobles must attend the Royal Academy upon coming of age, to further their education and cultivation. Coincidentally, she was also planning to enroll, as all the key characters in the story converge at this very school. But Levi could never have expected that on her very first day of school, she would run straight into the biggest villain of the original novel. His cold, indifferent gaze falls upon her. When he speaks, his tone is laced with scrutiny. "You're from the Heron family." Levi suppresses the panic in her heart, composes herself, and curtsies. "Your Highness, may you be well. I am Levi of the Heron family. I failed to greet you properly earlier. I'm not the second prince. Are you very disappointed?" Levi's heart sinks. He must have seen what happened that day. Damian views Freed as a rival, so of course, he would harbor ill will towards a Levi who admires Freed. She must find a way to make Damian lower his guard. "Your Highness misunderstands. I was frail as a child, so my enrollment was delayed by a year. I was so excited on my first day at school that I was momentarily dazed. It has nothing to do with anyone else." Seeing the curiosity In Damian's eyes, she presses her advantage. You might find this ridiculous, Your Highness. You once invited us noble children to a lakeside party. I still have the painting from that day at home. Perhaps because I often look at that painting, I didn't recognize your current appearance at first glance. In the original story, after the rebellion ended, Damian's first act was to search for that painting, because it held the last memory of him and his mother. This must also be the softest spot in his heart. Sure enough, Damian's expression softened slightly. You're quite the talker. Most people would have long forgotten such trivial childhood matters. Even if you were disappointed that I wasn't freed just now, I won't hold it against you. Levi immediately denies it. Your Highness, it was just that the crowd was overwhelming today, and I momentarily felt unwell. It's not what you think at all. To be so flustered that you nearly faint from excitement shows how much you truly like him. Damian's voice carries a hint of amusement. He strides towards the lecture hall. I'll remember you. At the freshman orientation ceremony, the priest stands at the podium offering blessings. Damian clasps his hands, his eyes closed in reverence, looking as pious as an angel. Levi mutters to herself that he's just as good at pretending as in the original story. As soon as the ceremony ends, the high priest of the temple approaches him. Thank you, Your Highness, for attending today's ceremony on behalf of Prince Fried. Damian gives a modest nod, his gentle demeanor flawless. To be able to receive the blessings of the gods, I am the one who should be thankful. I only hope the goddess can show mercy and protect the Holy Knight Commander Fried, who toils day and night. His answer is seamless, showing no trace of dissatisfaction for having to attend in Fried's place, a stark contrast to his probing demeanor. Earlier, thinking of the dark, twisted events in the novel, she can't reconcile the image of the gentle prince before her with the cruel tyrant he becomes. She becomes even more determined to stay away from this dangerous character. Back in his private lounge, Damian impatiently loosens his collar. He was born without divine power, which is the main reason why Damian loses to Fried in the original story. The high priest's praise, while sounding like a compliment, was actually a deeply cutting remark. Someone without divine power, no matter how piously they pray, can never receive the blessings of the gods. His guard pours him a cup of tea, advising him not to worry too much. Damian lifts the cup and realizes it's lemon tea, his mother's favorite drink when she was alive. A flicker of warmth crosses his eyes. Damian's mother, the former queen, was renowned for her stunning beauty and possessed incredibly strong divine power. That's why, despite coming from a Viscount family, she ascended to the throne of the queen. Everything began to crumble when the former emperor fell gravely ill. The temple declared that the queen had an ominous birthmark, which angered the gods and caused the emperor's illness. To cure the emperor, the royal family married the daughter of Duke Royas, who was backed by the temple, as a new consort. And so, the former queen died in bitterness, buried under the countless slanders and insults of the new consort and the public. The nobles who once relied on his mother turned on him one by one. In the end, only a single knight from his mother's family remained by his side. Damian silently vows to himself that he will not die easily until his deep-seated grudge is avenged. To survive and ascend the throne, he must become flawlessly perfect, leaving the temple no weakness to exploit. He has witnessed firsthand how the temple uses the will of the heavens to massacre the innocent and manipulate the court. He absolutely cannot let these people control the entire empire. After finishing his report, the knight bows and retreats. After the evening banquet ends, I will come to pick you up, Your Highness. The mention of the orientation party reminds Damian of the young lady from the Heron family. He had thought that being sickly year-round would have made her spirit withered, but seeing her today, apart from her familiar golden hair, her entire aura was completely different. Damian suddenly recalls the image of her calling his name with a smile, and an inexplicable heat rises within him. It's starting again. Since puberty, he has been plagued by overwhelming urges. Before, he used intense training to suppress this impulsiveness. But even after reaching the level of a sword master, this condition still occasionally appears. In the royal family, an ancestor once died after losing control due to an addiction to this feeling. For years, he has maintained a life of abstinence and restraint. He struggles to suppress the stirring in his heart, his reason constantly reminding him that it's only because she brought up old memories of his mother, hitting his weak spot, that she left such a deep impression. Forget her. After all, her heart belongs to Freed. The two of them were never meant to cross paths. The post-orientation party is the pinnacle social event for the aristocracy. Levi moves through the crowd, searching for the original female lead, Ayla. To stop Damian's rebellion and rewrite everyone's tragedy, she must befriend and protect the female lead early on. This is the best opportunity. But before she can even find the female lead, harsh whispers reach her ears. She's a baron's daughter, yet she lives in that rundown dormitory. I heard she can't touch her parents' inheritance. She can only scrape by day to day. She probably doesn't even dare to show her face at the evening party. A wave of disgust rises in Levi's heart. It's because of people like you that she doesn't dare to appear. Just as she prepares to continue her search, the topic shifts to her. Right, that burden of the Heron house is also enrolled. As the heir to the Empire sword, she's already weak and useless, and on top of that, she's always chasing after the prince. If it were me, I wouldn't have the face to live on. What? What do you mean, no face to live on? Levi walks straight up to them. I carry the protection of the first-generation deity and am the rightful heir of Heron. In this lifetime, I will never do anything to tarnish my family's name. The man sitting in the center finally stands up. He is the one who just spoke ill of her. He is Ivan, the heir of the Cass family. The Cass family was once loyal to Heron, but as the Herons decline day by day, they have long since grown contemptuous, only maintaining a superficial reverence. Faced with his greeting, Levi doesn't hold back and directly activates her divine power. The wine glass on the table levitates, and all the wine splashes onto the man. She throws his insults right back at him. As the shield of the Empire, you can't even block this? If it were me, to avoid disgracing my family, I would have ended my own life long ago. If you're dissatisfied with me, then let's have a proper duel, with the honor of our two families at stake. Ivan's face turns pale. Though Levi is frail, the orthodox divine power passed down by the Heron family is not something the Cass family can afford to offend. He doesn't dare accept the challenge and leaves in silent fury. After this incident, Levi gives up on finding anyone at the party and heads straight to the female lead's dormitory. The dilapidated and desolate scene before her is even worse than she imagined. In the original story, Ayla's fate is incredibly tragic. Her parents died early in an accident, leaving behind a massive fortune, but it's managed by a bank, and she can only access it upon coming of age. Not only did her uncle seize her assets, but he also stripped her of her freedom, even constantly creating accidents to drive her to her death. Just as Ayla is on the brink of death, Freed steps in to save her, gradually. Ayla finds herself moved by his kindness and gentleness. The two of them were supposed to be the perfect and most powerful couple in the story, but they end up facing Damian's rebellion. Therefore, Levi decides to execute her second plan, save Ayla ahead of schedule and personally nurture her into the strongest saintess. Just then, a dark, probing gaze locks onto her. Levi immediately goes on alert, activating her divine power, but her opponent dodges the attack. Among the trees in the night, a black bat flits past. She continues to gather her power, and a short sword materializes in her palm. She turns and throws it, hitting her target with perfect accuracy. Her days of hard training have not been wasted. Her control over her divine power is becoming more and more proficient. Another faint rustle reaches her ears. Who's there? Levi calls out in a loud voice. From behind a tree knot, far away, a slender figure slowly emerges. The Young girl's voice carries a hint of fear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to peek. The gentle moonlight shines down, illuminating the girl's delicate, pale eyebrows. The person is none other than the original female lead she's been searching for, Ayla. Levi is captivated by the girl's beauty and freezes on the spot for a moment. No need to apologize, I was just passing by. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hello, I'm a new student, Levi Heron. Ayla, who was timid just a moment ago, suddenly becomes excited. You're the young lady who inherited the Heron family's protective power? I heard the Herons can summon all sorts of swords. The admiration in Ayla's eyes is unconcealed. To witness it in person today is truly an honor. The female leads. Unexpected enthusiasm startles Levi for a moment before she softly replies, "Thank you." Pretending not to know Ayla, she asks, "Miss, may I ask your name?" Ayla takes half a step back, a hint of insecurity rising in her eyes. Then, she calmly states her name and doesn't hide her family circumstances. Their similar situations stir a pang of sympathy in Levi. Actually, me too, she tells. Her story about Uncle Aaron, recounting how she sued him and sent him to prison. I understand the feeling of being betrayed by family. It's very difficult, but I want to tell you not to be too discouraged. There's always a way through any hardship. Ayla lowers her head and remains silent for a long time before slowly speaking. Can I become as strong as you someday? A faint smile plays on Levi's lips. She never thought she'd be defined as strong by someone else. She looks directly into Ayla's eyes, her tone serious and firm. Of course you can. Starting tomorrow, let's go together. Ayla is taken aback. Together? Yes, let's find a way to become strong together. I'll help you. So it's settled. See you tomorrow. Here. Fearing Ayla might refuse, Levi quickly waves and turns to leave after speaking. At that moment, her mood is light and bright. She never expected to close the distance with the female lead so easily. A few days pass in a flash, and Fried still hasn't arrived at the academy. In class, Damian sits listlessly at his desk. Just before class starts, the classroom door is pushed open, and two figures who had never crossed paths before walk in side by side. It's Levi and Ayla. Whispers immediately erupt around them. What a strange combination. I guess only flawed people stick together. Levi completely ignores the gossip, leading Ayla by the hand to an empty row of seats. It's been a week since she met Ayla, and her training plan is progressing steadily. There's only one thing that keeps nagging at her. The bat from that day has yet to be found, but she is already locked onto a prime suspect. In her mind, Professor Royals from the Demonology class. He is the Crown Princess's younger brother, not only a supporter of the second prince, but also the true culprit. Behind the death of Damian's mother, the bat used to spy on her that day. Most likely came from him. Noticing Royal's gaze on her, Levi immediately collects her thoughts and flashes a harmless smile. Her opponent retracts his gaze and continues his lecture. Demons are born from the sins of the world, a filthy existence. They will attach themselves to people who have attributes that match theirs. For example, a demon representing lust will choose a promiscuous person to possess. The possessed individual will eventually lose their sanity and become a savage beast. Next, we will witness a demon firsthand. He gives a signal, and the assistant beside him immediately whips off the black cloth covering the iron cage, revealing a real demon inside. Immediately after, Royal's gaze shifts, aiming a malicious jab at Levi. I wonder if we might have the honor of witnessing the protective power of the Empire Sword, the Heron family? In front of everyone, she materializes magical energy in her left hand. A great sword appears, hovering in midair. In a flash, Levi strikes down the demon in the cage. The Demonology professor, who had intentionally tried to embarrass her, is left dumbfounded. Who would have thought that the young lady of the Heron family, known for being frail and sickly, could possess such formidable strength? Damian shows a look of suspicion. How strange. In his memory, The Levi he knew was nothing like this. The professor, having failed to cause trouble, has no choice but to continue his lecture. As you have seen, divine power can kill demons, but to eradicate them completely, you must immerse them in holy water. After saying this, he also takes the opportunity to praise the second prince's formidable divine power. The demon in the cage was captured by him. All right, Miss Heron, you may return to your seat. Levi bows slightly, her smile and etiquette impeccable. This sight makes the professor's expression even more unsightly. This girl is just like her father. He had tried multiple times to sway the Heron family to the second prince's side, but Levi's father always remained staunchly neutral. He once declared that the family's protective power is only to defend the common people. Thus, he isn't intentionally targeting Levi. He had previously happened upon Levi speaking privately with the first prince, which is why he decided to humiliate her in public. Leaving the lecture hall, Ayla immediately cheers with excitement. Now no one will dare to gossip about you anymore. If only you could quickly advance to the second year, I could also learn basic magic with you. Levi sighs inwardly. What you need to learn is not simple magic. According to the novel, Ayla's divine power will awaken in a year. It's an energy source powerful enough to destroy an entire city. If the plan goes smoothly, perhaps she can make that power awaken sooner. So, she looks at Ayla and says, starting today, let's train together at the training grounds. Just the two of us? Yes, just the two of us. Ayla, like a joyful little animal, jumps up and down, holding her hand tightly. I'm more than willing. I'll be sure to study hard everything you teach me. The training hall deep within the academy is almost deserted, but this training ground conceals a massive source of energy. The founding emperor built this place with materials from Mount Nemu, which carry natural divine power. It not only aids in cultivation, but also helps recover strength. It's just that in the original story, this training ground eventually becomes the place where the villain corners Ayla. A timid voice sounds from behind. Levi, is it okay for me to wear this? I'm sorry, I've never worn anything like this before. Since they first met, Levi has noticed that Ayla always feels insecure and unworthy. Thinking of how in the novel, everyone could confidently trample on this kind and gentle girl, Levi silently makes a resolution. As long as she is here, she will absolutely not let anyone bully Ayla again. Levi is so focused on Ayla that she doesn't even notice Damian watching her with a deep gaze from not far away. This was his usual solitary training spot. He didn't expect to see someone else here today. During class, he noticed Levi had exhausted her divine power. For the next few days, she probably won't be able to use any magic. But at that moment, striking down the demon was the most appropriate choice. Damian can't help but ponder. Perhaps her past arrogant and willful actions were all just a protective shell. Very clever, but why does she have to go to such lengths? He continues to watch even after Ayla leaves. Levi is long past exhausted but still doesn't stop swinging the wooden sword, as if something is forcing her to persevere desperately. Suddenly, Levi stumbles, her legs giving way. Damian instinctively darts forward. The expected fall doesn't happen. Levi looks up and realizes she has fallen squarely into the first prince's arms. Your Highness, why are you here? The proximity is so close that the tips of Damian's ears turn red. He hastily averts his gaze, his tone somewhat flustered. You, get up first. I'm sorry. Levi immediately scrambles up, her mind full of questions. Why is he here? Could he be looking for Ayla? She starts backing away slowly, her eyes filled with a hint of vigilance. Damian notices this. I don't know what you're thinking, but I've always trained here. Realizing she misunderstood him, Levi bows an apology. Damian smoothly changes the subject. Why are you training here alone? The Heron family must have a better training ground. Levi is silent for a moment, then slowly replies. I don't want the knights and vassals in my family to worry about me. nor do I want them to see my weakness. These words stirred Damian's memories. His mother was the same way. Even though she was terminally ill, she would endure it all, not wanting others to worry. Thinking of this, a soft corner of his heart stirs. Is there anything I can do to help? Levi looks surprised. He continues, if you want to wash away the defective reputation of the Heron family, just relying on that little trick from earlier won't last long. At least, it won't fool those stubborn and cunning nobles. Levi is surprised that Damian saw through her intentions, but what puzzles her more is why this person would help her. She asks him directly, Your Highness, I don't understand your intentions in doing this. He turns away. Just consider it an apology for my rudeness at the orientation ceremony. And I feel that those who work hard deserve to be rewarded. There's no other reason. Such a simple answer touches Levi's heart. She smiles and replies, Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness. This was supposed to be my secret. But having someone understand my efforts still makes me very happy. The girl's bright smile momentarily captivates Damian, his gaze unknowingly softening. Don't push yourself too hard. After all, the Heron family is the sword of the Empire. After bidding Damian farewell, Levi's anxious heart feels somewhat relieved. Perhaps this villain isn't as bad as she thought. The original story was always told from the protagonist's perspective. To Fried and Ayla, Damian is the enemy. But right now, none of the tragedies have happened yet. He pursues power merely to protect himself and those who are truly loyal to him. A lonely and passionate man who can only force himself to become strong enough, perfect enough, to hold on to what he wants. She suddenly feels a sense of kinship with him. It's better to temporarily set aside her prejudices, maintain a distance, and quietly observe this person. While Levi has come to an understanding, Damian is trapped in a mess of his own. Levi's image replays over and over in his mind. He feels like he's about to go crazy over her. Ever since her parents passed away, Ayla's life has been a living hell. Because as the heir, she must graduate from the academy to withdraw the assets held in trust by the bank. Knowing this, her uncle's family, in their capacity as guardians, brazenly stormed into Ayla's mansion, claiming her parents left such a will because they didn't trust her abilities. Not only did they demand half the fortune under the guise of caring for her, but they also sold off most of the mansion and dismissed all the servants. Then, they sent her to a remote countryside, cutting off all her contact with the outside world until she came of age and had to enroll in the academy according to imperial law. Ayla knows all too well that the day she graduates, her uncle's blade will be pointed straight at her. In her despair, she even considered logging out permanently, preferring to end her own life rather than die at his hands. Fortunately, she met Levi. Levi looks at Ayla. Faced with adversity, you must learn to fight back proactively. The two have been training together for several weeks. The crisp clash of wooden swords echoes continuously in the training ground. Your attack skills are already excellent. Really? Of course. At this rate, you'll become a top-notch swordsman in no time. As Levi smiles and praises her, Ayla is filled with joy, as if she truly possesses an endless source of strength. She is clearly exhausted, but her heart is beating wildly. To her, Levi is simply a hero-like existence. Her voice is a little shaky but incredibly firm. Levi, thank you. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I'd still be trapped in despair. Levi notices her eyes are red and immediately panics. Ayla, why are you crying? It's nothing, just looking at. The pent-up grievances from all these years suddenly burst forth, and Ayla breaks down into sobs. Hearing about her situation, Levi learns that what her uncle's family did was far worse than what was written in the story. They imprisoned an orphaned and helpless Ayla, verbally abusing her daily. The prolonged isolation and torment plunged the still young child into a deep pit of self-loathing, making her contemplate suicide time and time again. Don't listen to their nonsense, Ayla. You were only 7 years old then. They, seeing Levi's indignation on her behalf, Ayla can't help but laugh through her tears. It's so good to have met you. I won't blindly retreat anymore. During my time at the academy, I will definitely find a way to fight back. Levi looks at her intently and says seriously, if I have a way to nullify that will and help you reclaim your assets ahead of schedule, would you be willing to give it a try? In the original story, Ayla was never able to reclaim everything that belonged to her. She drifted for half her life, many times, walking the line between life and death until Freed appeared and rescued her. In most stories, the male lead always appears when the female lead is in distress to showcase his abilities and deepen the bond between them. But Levi doesn't want to see Ayla go through these hardships. Ayla's face is filled with disbelief. Is that really possible? Of course, I'll help you. Levi promises confidently. Her Ayla doesn't deserve to suffer like this. As for her fated relationship with Freed, she just needs to appear healthy and confident to face him. A few days later, at Levi's request, Ayla has organized all the relevant documents she inherited. Her parents' innate business talent completely. This portfolio is enough to prove her capabilities and, at the same time, it's the key bargaining chip to lift the will's restrictions and reclaim her assets early. The girl asks, full of questions, what do you need these for? Levi reaches out and gently pinches Ayla's cheek, a playful glint in her eyes. Let's keep it a secret for now. Just then, the surrounding crowd begins to stir. It turns out the spring outing party is about to begin. It's not just a social stage for young nobles, but also the first unofficial arena for various factions to align themselves. Currently, the war for the throne between the first prince and the second prince is growing fiercer. A relentless battle of connections has officially begun. Have you received your invitation yet? Yes, I got 10 of them. Even though I'm called. The family's failure, the reputation of House Heron built by my father seems to be quite solid. Ayla exclaims in amazement, 10 invitations? Levi nods. From my father's close friends, 2 from rising military families, and some from knightly houses. The rest are from acquaintances in the Demonology class. We're not even that close. Ayla mutters, so it's because of that class. Before, I was the only one who knew how brilliant you are. Levi turns to look at her. What about you, Ayla? Ayla sighs softly. It doesn't matter how many invitations I receive. She reaches out her hand. Taking Levi's, she says, what matters is whether I can sit with you. Even if we end up seated separately, it's okay. I'll try to become better. To become someone worthy of you. No, worthy of being your friend. Ayla's voice holds a stubborn insistence. She presses Levi's hand to her cheek. I mean, to become a friend worthy of your cherish. On the day of the spring outing party, the western area of the campus is bustling with activity. Levi and Ayla's arrival immediately captures the attention of the entire assembly. Not far away, Ivan's eyes are fixed on Levi. A sarcastic smile curls his lips. The Cass family has been hailed as the Empire's shield for generations, while the Herons are the Empire's sword. Shield and sword were meant to be inseparable, and they were supposed to protect the Heron descendants. However, deep down, Ivan has no desire to follow this ancestral teaching. Whichever prince the Heron family chooses to support, he has already decided to follow the second prince, Freed. In his eyes, the power backing Freed far surpasses anything the first prince, Damian, can match. The central area to the left belongs to the second prince, Freed. To the right is the first prince, Damian's. In an area not too close to Freed's faction, nor within Damian's sphere, sit the ones everyone looks down on. The look down upon House Heron and that orphan girl. Ivan silently scoffs, certain that the two of them will be ostracized by both sides. But as the guests arrive one by one, the situation unfolds completely contrary to his expectations. Nobles flock towards Levi. Miss Heron, it's a pleasure to meet you. Are you in good health? I've been looking for an opportunity to greet you. I'm so glad to finally see you today. The very people who not long ago despised the Heron family are now fawning over Levi. Only then does Ivan realize that Levi intentionally chose this position. In high society, it's customary for those of lower status to initiate conversation with those of higher status. She had cleverly used this rule, firmly establishing herself in a neutral position, gracefully accepting everyone's greetings. For someone in Levi's situation, rather than fawning over the powerful and hitting a wall, it's better to open her arms and build good relationships. Levi effortlessly takes control of everything. She raises her teacup to take a sip when her innate sensory ability suddenly detects a faint demonic aura. Levi's expression darkens. She immediately tells Ayla to stay put and rushes off alone, following the demonic fluctuations. The source of the demonic aura is coming from the tea room where Damian often rests. After confirming the aura is from inside, she knocks on the door. "Your Highness, are you in there?" A commotion of clashing furniture sounds from within the room. A moment later, Damian opens the door, his eyes tinged with a faint red. "Levi Heron, what are you doing here?" Levi chooses her words carefully, knowing how sensitive the man before her is to topics related to demons. Rumor has it that on the day Damian was born, a large number of demons suddenly appeared throughout the empire. Fanatical supporters of Freed often use this as a pretext to spread wild rumors. "I just sensed a demonic fluctuation nearby, so I came to check." Damian frowns slightly. "Demonic aura? Perhaps my senses were wrong. But just to be sure, I should check again." "No need for your concern." Surprisingly, Damian agrees with her. The Heron clan is blessed by the gods. Their ability to sense demonic aura is unparalleled. "If you've detected it." Before he can finish, the surrounding air suddenly trembles violently, and the dense demonic aura surges. A colossal, snake-like black demon materializes. It's a high-level demon. Levi instinctively shields Damian, a chill running down her spine. A strong sense of danger washes over her. This type of demon never appeared in the original story. The girl is completely unprepared. Not only has the villain been targeted by a demon ahead of schedule, but it's also the most difficult to deal with, a demon of lust. At this very moment, Damian, who already had an obsession with Levi, begins his descent into darkness. When the demon appears, Damian is unfazed. Although Levi has summoned the Heron sword, it's a complete reversal of roles for a prince to hide behind a knight for protection. But as a demon swordsman, Damian has never bothered with such details. He raises his hand, activating his demonic power. In an instant, a silver energy envelopes the entire room. To survive the fierce court struggles, he had already reached the realm of a sword saint before coming of age. The demon lets out a horrifying scream, writhing its body madly, trying to break free from the binds. But the entire space has been sealed by his demonic power, leaving no escape. But disaster strikes in an instant. The demon's body suddenly swells, splitting into dozens of hideous tentacles that shoot towards Damian. At this, Levi suddenly recalls a record she once read in the Heron family library. This type of demon can freely transform its snake-like body into tentacles. They will forcibly seize the host's body and gnaw away at their soul bit by bit. The demon of lust specializes in turning humans into puppets driven solely by desire. As if to prove her assessment, Damian's pupils begin to dilate as he confronts the demon. In fact, even before Levi appeared, his body had been acting strangely, from the training grounds to the opening ceremony. The constant heat rising in his body has been tormenting him. The more he tries to forget the sight of Levi's intense training, the more vividly the image appears in his mind. Damian clutches his face in pain. He has always deliberately kept his distance from the opposite sex. Yet now he is drowning in these shameful thoughts. Is it because he lacks divine power, or was his body naturally depraved, making it unable to accommodate divine strength? Every time he thinks of Levi, he feels incredibly despicable. She has never teased or flirted with him, yet he harbors countless wild fantasies. He silently berates himself while slumping back onto the sofa in frustration. In this state, He can't possibly attend the spring outing party. He can only wait in the lounge until his mood stabilizes. Just then, a familiar voice calls out from outside the door. Your Highness, are you in there? Damian is startled and quickly stands to adjust his clothes, but the moment his eyes meet Levi's, the little sanity he painstakingly maintained crumbles once again. Why? Why is she here? Why does she always appear before him? It's as if she's constantly reminding him of that shameful desire. To become an emperor, he has always demanded extreme perfection of himself. But cruelly, he is cursed with such a body. He suddenly remembers what the Demonology professor once said: demons always cling to those with a similar nature. So, this monster appeared because of him? Damian's consciousness begins to blur. Your Highness. Levi's call pulls him back to reality for a brief moment. He channels his demonic power into his sword and lunges at the demon. The longsword pierces through the demon's body. Under the impact of the divine power, the demon explodes like an overinflated balloon. The spectral chains binding Damian also vanish with it. Levi rushes to his side. Are you all right, Your Highness? I'll call for help immediately. Don't go. Damian stops her. I'm fine. Don't tell anyone. You should leave first. Only now. Does Levi realize Damian has been afflicted by demonic energy? This is bad. She has to get out of here now. Levi turns to leave, but her steps halt at the door. The space-sealing magic Damian had cast has worn off, and he is curled up in a corner, his whole body trembling violently. The rumors linking him to demons have made it impossible for him to even ask for help. If she leaves now, will Damian turn dark ahead of schedule? Your Highness, I'm sorry. Levi stops. The sealing magic has worn off. I can't leave. Damian looks at her, trying to rally his scattered senses. Levi slowly inches forward. Since I am the sword of the Empire, I cannot abandon a member of the royal family in peril. Despite the lust raging within him, Damian instinctively backs away. Heron, you should know that my body has no divine power to resist demonic energy, so you should leave. I will not hold you responsible. Don't come any closer unless you want to make the situation unsalvageable. He forces out each word. Leave. That's an order. Levi stands frozen. From her palm, she materializes a gentle divine power. I can help you purify the demonic energy. Perhaps it will make you feel a little better. He gradually falls silent. Perhaps because she also inhaled some demonic energy earlier. Levi now feels her body starting to heat up. She can't help but wonder if Damian has been enduring this kind of torment all along. Seeing his prolonged silence, she cautiously takes a few more steps. Your Highness, are you all right? But the next second, Damian's eyes, filled with bloodshot veins, flash with a crimson light. He reaches out and grabs her wrist. With a forceful shove, he pushes her down onto the sofa. To surpass his younger brother, who was born with immense divine power, Damian always forced himself to play the role of a proud, abstinent leader. But ironically, a lust demon of an unusually high level suddenly descends, and the girl he has been secretly yearning for happens to appear. He had clearly given Levi a chance to escape, but she chose to stay. The demonic energy relentlessly corrodes his mind, his reason gradually gives way, and everything unfolds as a matter of course. Pushed by fate, a scene of passionate romance unfolds, enough to make any man suffer. When Damian wakes up, he even thinks last night was just a wet dream. But the marks left on his body, along with the snake-like pattern that has appeared on his skin, remind him of what really happened. Elsewhere, the Academy is hit by a series of demon attacks after the incident. Levi invited her to stay at the Heron Mansion. Ayla's brows are furrowed with worry. Levi, are you okay? Levi only says that she exhausted her energy fighting a demon. She must keep what happened with Damian an absolute secret. Ayla, as usual, starts blaming herself. You're already so tired, yet you still have to worry about me. I feel like I'm a burden holding you back. Don't say that. It's hard to guarantee there aren't more demons lurking in the academy. How could I be at ease leaving you alone? Just stay here comfortably. I've always wanted to have friends over. After persuading Ayla to agree, Levi falls into deep thought. In the original story, the demons causing chaos were only low-level ones. Yet the demon she and Damian defeated together was a high-level one. This fills her with a vague sense of unease. But just before they were about to leave, Fried conveniently arrived. He must have handled the aftermath properly. With her mind at ease, Levi falls into a deep sleep. Ayla quietly raises her right hand and a small, translucent flame blooms from her palm. It's a healing divine power she had seen a holy knight use not long ago. Today is the first time she's trying it herself. Levi's expression gradually relaxes and the small scratches on her skin quickly heal. A power that ordinary people spend a lifetime pursuing, she masters after seeing it just once. Moreover, her body contains an immense source of divine power. But more than being surprised by her own talent, Ayla is overjoyed that she can now help Levi. As the Sword of the Empire, Levi is destined to fight on countless battlefields. And she is willing to be Levi's strongest support. Sleep well, Levi. Sweet dreams. The next day, when Levi wakes up, it's almost 5 a.m. Usually, she's up practicing her sword before dawn. The maid, seeing her sleep in for once, can't help but express her concern. A blush creeps up Levi's neck, and she plays along with the maid's words. Then she asks the maid to call Ayla for breakfast together. She casually pops a blue candy into her mouth. Magic in this world has been integrated into daily life. Even a single candy can serve as a contraceptive. The newspaper's front page reports on the Academy attack, lavishing praise on the second prince, Fried, for leading the knights to bravely fight the enemy. At the same time, it intentionally disparages the first prince, Damian, for arriving late. Every word reeks of factional conflict. However, the newspaper makes no mention of the high-level demon. Damian must have suppressed the information. After freshening up, she walks out to the garden, where Ayla has been sitting for a while. Did you sleep well? Levi smiles and sits down. Very soundly. By the way, I have good news for you. Your inheritance is about to be returned to its rightful owner. Levi, using the Heron family's name, had filed a lawsuit on Ayla's behalf to reclaim the inheritance. She sent people to gather evidence proving Ayla's uncle was a negligent guardian and illegally seized assets, while also proving Ayla was fully capable of managing the family business. Now the case is nearing its conclusion. She should win within a week. A mix of surprise and emotion makes Ayla's body tremble slightly. Before she can even say thank you, Levi stuffs a piece of cake into her mouth. No need for thanks. Before all the procedures are complete, you can stay here at ease, and you don't need to feel guilty. Remember what I said? Having my best friend live with me has always been my wish. These words soothe Ayla's mood. Of course, I remember. I'll never forget. Levi excitedly paints a picture of the future. We can go on picnics and shopping trips together, and when we're free, we can chat about girly things. Her words suddenly catch in her throat. A strange feeling suddenly comes over her. Ayla? What's wrong? The girl looks up, her smile incredibly gentle. I'll do anything. Just being with you is enough for me. After the demon incident, Fried leads patrols around the academy every day. He always lets the knights whose shifts are over rest first, while he stays behind to patrol several more times. The knights under his command are full of admiration, praising him for not only having powerful divine abilities, but also possessing a noble character. Fried suddenly turns and asks, have the dormitories been fully repaired yet? Yes, they have. Thanks to Miss Heron letting Miss Ayla stay at her mansion, the restoration work on the dorms was expedited. Fried nods slightly. When I have time, I must treat Miss Heron to a cup of tea to express my gratitude. Commander, you must be careful. Isn't that young lady the one who's madly in love with you? Don't speak nonsense. Fried smiles and stops him. Joking about a young lady like that is very rude. After his subordinate leaves, he continues his meticulous patrol. That day, he clearly sensed a tyrannical demonic aura, but after days of searching, he found nothing. Could he have been hallucinating? A resentful mumble reaches his ears. Damn it, everything I have is ruined. It's all because of that wench Ayla and that meddling heron girl. The carriage slowly comes to a stop. The speaker freezes, his face turning ferocious. He charges aggressively towards the newcomer. Levi Heron, I will never let you go. But before he can get close, Freed swiftly restrains him. He twists the man's wrist and the dagger clatters to the ground. Daring to assault someone with a knife in the academy? Freed looks towards Levi, his emerald eyes filled with concern. Miss Levi Heron, are you unharmed? Levi bows her thanks, a little surprised. She had expected Ayla's uncle to seek revenge, but didn't expect to run into Freed here. You seem very surprised to see me. You too. It's been a while, Levi says. Ayla steps out of the carriage, her face filled with shock. Only when she sees the sharp blade on the ground does she snap out of it and rushes over. In front of Levi. Are you hurt? I'm fine, thanks to the second prince's timely intervention. Levi takes the opportunity to praise Freed in front of Ayla. Just as Ayla is about to explain that this man is her uncle, here because of the inheritance lawsuit, Ruth suddenly goes berserk. What's with that attitude? Someone like you dares to make friends? What's with the holier-than-thou act? Ayla clenches her fists. Shut up. But Ruth becomes even more frantic. I bet your parents already knew you'd be tricked by someone. And I was right. That useless trash must have incited you to fight for the inheritance. She's a schemer at heart. A sharp slap rings out, silencing Ruth's crazed insults. He stumbles and rolls on the ground. Freed watches the scene with interest amidst the stunned silence. Ayla enunciates each word. You are not allowed to insult my friend. The onlookers are stunned, whispering among themselves. So Ayla's outburst was to protect Levi. It seems this young lady isn't as easy to provoke as she looks. From now on, if anyone dares to mess with Levi, Ayla will surely be the first to not let it slide. Levi doesn't just stand by either. She immediately calls the guards and gives an order. This old man not only attacked Levi but also dared to strike in front of the prince. His crimes are compounded. He must be dealt with strictly according to the rules. He's done for this time. As the guards drag him away, he knows better than anyone that he'll likely spend the rest of his life rotting in prison. This is the price for messing with the wrong people. But is the matter really over just like that? This old man is on death's door yet still covets his money. He struggles and screams. If he's caught, all his assets will go up in smoke. Just as he's about to escape in the chaos, a hand grabs him tightly. Ruth yells in frustration. Let me go. But before he can take 2 steps, he's thrown to the ground, his self-defense dagger flying to one side. This time, he's truly cornered. Freed coldly watches him trying to run towards the palace. I think you should stop dreaming. Ruth doesn't even have time to scream before a powerful force pins him to the ground. Now, let alone running, he can't even move a finger. It's a luxury. It seems Damian is truly intent on killing him this time. Pinned down by this force, Ruth doesn't even have the strength to call for help. Freed smiles and turns around, his greeting perfectly natural. Long time no see, Damian. But the moment these two meet, the atmosphere instantly changes. Levi calls out from behind, her voice hoarse. Damian, why are you here? Damian is in no mood for pleasantries. He walks straight towards Ruth, who is pinned to the ground. Attacking a noble's carriage, drawing a weapon in front of the second prince, and even attempting to charge at the prince. Compiling these crimes, Ruth wouldn't be able to escape even if he grew wings. Damian stares at him and states bluntly, betraying the royal family is a crime punishable by beheading on the spot. Since he was caught by Freed, Damian doesn't bother with more words. The rest of the interrogation is up to you. Freed is very polite, smiling as he says, as you all saw. This is all Damian's doing. Then he turns, intending to take Ayla and Levi for questioning. Seeing them about to be taken away, Damian suddenly speaks up to stop him. Wait, this isn't over. The sword of the Empire was ambushed. This is no small matter that can be resolved with a simple interrogation. Damian steps in front of Levi, his intentions clear. Levi, I will take her myself. Freed stares at him for a long time without a word. Unexpectedly, he suddenly smiles faintly. His concession is incredibly decisive. He tells Damian to take good care of her, then turns to leave with Ayla and Ruth, not forgetting to bid Levi farewell. Levi is just standing there dumbfounded, watching her lifeline drift further away, her heart screaming in despair. Don't go, someone save me. Damian coldly calls her name. Levi Heron, let's talk privately for a moment. This sentence sends a shiver down Levi's spine. The scene changes and Levi has been taken into a room. She sits on the sofa, her mind a tangled mess. Why was I suddenly brought here? Damian approaches step by step. Levi is so nervous she doesn't know where to put her hands. A strange thought flashes through her mind. Could it be that he remembers everything that happened that day? Damian sees through Levi's anxiety and offers her a calming pill. Don't worry, I didn't ask you here for personal matters. Levi is even more confused. If it's not personal, then why did he seek her out? Damian hesitates for a moment. What he says next is truly mortifying. I want to ask about the snake on my lower half. No, I mean the dragon. Levi is completely dumbfounded. Snake, dragon. This topic took a sharp turn. Is he talking about that? And he even deliberately corrected it to dragon? Where on earth does this man get this confidence? Seeing Levi unresponsive for a long time, Damian clears his throat. If you don't say anything, I'll remind you. I remember every single detail from that day. So don't try to play games. With Damian being so direct, Levi has no way to deny it. She coughs awkwardly twice and shamefully admits, I remember too. After all, that dragon is indeed hard to forget. After hearing this, Damian actually believes her completely and even presses further, really? Before Levi can recover, Damian's next request makes her want to dig a hole and crawl into it. Then describe it for me. Levi is stunned. What? How can I describe something like that? But Damian maintains an extremely serious expression. He wants to confirm if Levi actually saw that thing. What did it look like in her memory? What was her feeling at that moment? Levi has already cursed him 800 times over. This man is clearly a hopeless pervert, and to think she had made an effort to change her opinion of him. Since it has come to this, Levi has no choice but to bite the bullet. She covers her face and mumbles, all right. First of all, I think it's reasonable for you to call it a dragon. After all, its size is indeed very large. Surprisingly, Damian nods in agreement. Levi feels like she's going crazy. This madman. What is there to nod and agree about? She grits her teeth and continues to make things up. To be honest, I was completely speechless at that moment. Damian seems very understanding. That's normal. The first time I saw it, I was quite scared too. It is only then that the truth is revealed. It turns out Damian wasn't playing lewd games at all. He was just probing to see if Levi had actually seen the mark. If Levi saw it, then did she feel the demonic aura emanating from it? If so, then there's big trouble. He adds another question. So, what did you feel in your heart when you saw it? You should know, not everyone can see that thing. Even Douglas and Freed were completely unaware of anything unusual before. Levi's Heron family has beast-like instincts for this kind of aura, so it's not strange that she sensed it. But Levi's next answer leaves Damian speechless. I'm sure you can imagine a better life. You already know, that feeling was actually quite comfortable. This time it's Damian's turn to be dumbfounded. He never expected this answer. Comfortable? In all his years. This is the first time he's heard that this destructive demonic energy could make someone feel comfortable. Is Levi's constitution special, or is there something wrong with this power? Damian is utterly confused. Logically speaking, That aura should only make people uncomfortable, but Levi's current state doesn't seem right at all. Levi finally can't take it anymore and explodes. She whips around and shouts, "What on earth are you talking about? Didn't you ask me how I felt?" Damian gets flustered too. "I asked you to describe your feeling. Who wanted you to describe my body?" Levi argues back righteously, "Isn't it the same thing? You asked me what I felt when I saw your dragon, and I'm telling the truth. What's wrong with that?" Seeing Levi's serious expression, Damian finally realizes they haven't been on the same wavelength at all. He quickly clarifies, "No, that's not what I meant at all." Damian is truly desperate this time to prove his innocence. He directly reaches for his buttons to unfasten his shirt. Levi has never seen such a scene before and freezes in fear, repeatedly. Levi is completely petrified. In broad daylight, why is he suddenly taking off his clothes? Just as she's about to break down, Damian lifts his shirt, points to the purple mark on his hip, and says, "What I was asking about is this." Only now is the truth revealed. It turns out what Damian has been concerned about all along is this dragon-shaped demonic crest. Levi stares blankly for a long time before reacting. They've been talking past each other this whole time. She stares at the bizarre mark, unable to stop herself from asking, "My goodness, Your Highness, what on earth is this?" Only then does Damian realize. It turns out Levi never saw this mark at all. So when she was stammering earlier, what kind of mess was going through her mind? He adjusts his clothes while explaining that this thing appeared after the incident that day. He originally thought Levi might have some clues, but it turns out she's just as clueless, making the atmosphere even more awkward. Levi now wishes she could find a hole to crawl into. This misunderstanding is truly unprecedented. She quickly changes the subject, suggesting it might be an after-effect of the demon. After all, the situation was chaotic then, who knows for sure what happened? But Damian feels it's not that simple. Logically, as the heir of the Heron family, Levi should be the most sensitive to demonic energy, yet she didn't detect anything. Levi asks back, "Can Your Highness sense it yourself?" Damian is silent for a moment, then replies with 2 words, "Occasionally." Levi can't help but ask further what this demonic energy feels like. Damian bluntly replies, "It's exactly what you're thinking of right now." When this demonic energy flares up, the body heats up inexplicably, just like when we were attacked by the demon that day. He stares at Levi. "So you must take responsibility for helping me get rid of this thing." Levi is stunned, pointing at her own nose, unable to react for a long time. "What? Why are you asking me about this?" Damian approaches step by step, his tone hardening. "What? Are you planning to refuse?" He corners Levi, growling each word as a reminder, "Don't forget, the Heron family is the sharpest sword of the royal family." Damian leans in, his gaze filled with pressure. "You're not really planning to just stand by and watch, are you? You're not going to abandon a prince who was attacked by a demon, are you?" Having no choice, she grits her teeth and agrees, promising to keep it a secret and help him recover. Seeing her yield, Damian is also very generous, asking her what kind of compensation she wants. The little abacus in Levi's mind starts clicking. In the original story, the women who liked Damian could form a long line. For her own and Ayla's safety, she absolutely cannot let these troubles come knocking. She directly sets a rule with Damian: until the mark completely disappears, they must maintain their current status, and neither is allowed to fool around with others. After hearing this, Damian's tone carries a hint of teasing, asking if she's afraid of being targeted by those jealous women. Levi quickly explains, "I'm doing this purely to protect Ayla." He agrees very decisively. "Fine, I'm not interested in romance anyway." Levi thinks to herself, "That's great. As long as you don't cause trouble, everyone will be better off." Unexpectedly, Damian pulls out a piece of paper. Levi takes a closer look, and it's a magical contract formation. It seems Damian is completely serious, with it written in black and white. Levi must help him remove the demon mark, and until it's done, this matter must absolutely not be revealed. But who would have thought that Damian would add another clause if his demonic energy goes out of control? And he turns into a beast. Levi must also be responsible for handling it. Levi explodes. Do you mean that every time you have a flare-up, I have to sleep with you? He doesn't bother explaining, directly declaring the contract effective. Seeing his victorious expression, Levi knows she's really been tricked this time. Damian calling Levi's name sends shivers down her spine. The contract's power takes effect immediately. There's no chance of backing out now. She accepts her fate, officially becoming Damian's partner. The scene shifts to the royal study, where Fried is currently settling old scores. He stares at Ruth, his tone filled with pressure. Turns out the reason the Heron carriage was attacked was because they helped Ayla with her lawsuit. What a ridiculous reason. Ruth pleads for mercy, claiming he was possessed at the time. Fried doesn't bother listening to his nonsense, directly placing his sword at Ruth's neck. He says coldly, forgiveness is for good people who make mistakes. You not only exploited your granddaughter, but also wanted to kill her friend. A person like you doesn't deserve mercy. Just then, Ayla happens to be outside the door, hearing every word. This is big trouble. Everyone says second Prince Fried is the gentlest person. Hearing the commotion inside, Ayla never dreamed he had such a ruthless side. Fried, inside the room, is highly alert. As soon as his subordinate whispers a word, he detects someone outside the door. Fried instinctively thinks it's Levi, and his tone changes immediately, ordering his men to open the door quickly. The door opens, and Fried greets her with a smile. Levi recounts the details of Ruth's ambush. After hearing it, Fried shows no major reaction. Instead, he's more curious about who she traveled all this way for. He glances at Ayla and understands. She politely expresses that she came specially to thank His Highness for saving her life. But Fried's following words are impeccably smooth. He says it's a knight's duty, and even blames himself for not protecting her completely, saying it was his own failing. With these words, Fried positions himself as a superior royal, offering Levi a graceful way out. He says to consider it as Levi owing him a favor and invites her to sit down. They can talk slowly. This debt of gratitude isn't easy to repay. This time, Levi can't refuse even if she wants to. As soon as Levi sits down, Fried starts probing. He thinks Levi must be very upset this time. With her personality, she must have already prepared to deal with the ambush. Levi appears very calm. She says it's actually nothing. It's just that if Ayla's uncle had really made a move, things wouldn't become much simpler. The implication in this sentence is very deep. What is Levi planning? Fried acts magnanimous, telling them not to worry. He deliberately emphasizes that Ruth's actions today were entirely personal and will absolutely not implicate Ayla. Levi politely thanks him, but Ayla at the side sees it as clear as day. This second prince is a complete two-faced person. Fried continues his act, advising Ayla to rest early since she just had a scare. But the gentler he appears, the more Ayla feels this person is unfathomably deep. Levi also notices the strange atmosphere and whispers to ask Ayla what's wrong. This is trouble. How can Ayla warn Levi that the man in front of her is actually very dangerous? The days fly by, and Levi has smoothly settled into academy life. Late at night, she is still engrossed in her studies in the library. As she is concentrating, a knock sounds at the door. The maid outside announces Miss Levi. A reply from the Baron has arrived. Levi quickly puts down her work. She has been waiting for this letter for a long time, finding it a bit hard to believe that her father actually sent a letter. Opening it, the lines are filled with an old father's countless instructions. The first sentence reads, "My dearest daughter Levi, congratulations on getting into the academy." The Baron is in a remote territory. Though he is not by her side, his heart is always with his daughter, always concerned about whether her academy life is happy. In the letter, the Baron repeatedly reminds her that although he heard Levi's health has improved, she must not overwork herself. He is currently on a business trip in a strange place where he cannot use magic, cannot see his daughter, cannot hear his daughter's voice. These days are like torture for him. Moreover, this letter took a whole month to reach Levi. The Baron frankly expresses in the letter that he really wants to come home, wants to return quickly to chat and train with his daughter. Looking at the letter in her hand, Levi's heart feels incredibly warm. She can't help but exclaim, "Father is exaggerating." To be honest, this feeling of being cherished by family is something Levi is experiencing for the first time in her 2 lifetimes combined. This unexpected happiness makes her a little flustered. The Baron in the letter praises Levi to the skies, saying she is the most beautiful girl in the entire empire. No, the entire continent. Even though Levi feels her father's filter is a bit over the top, her heart is still blooming with joy. However, the Baron's tone suddenly changes. He repeatedly warns Levi to stay away from all the men outside. If any scoundrel dares to have ill intentions, he will absolutely not spare them. Just when Levi thinks this is just a normal family letter, the end of the letter mentions a secret she has never heard of. For years, the Heron family has actually had a secret library, and only the family heir is qualified to know about it. How could she sit still now? She calls out loudly for Wallen. He is startled by the call and hurries over. "Miss, what is it?" Levi gets straight to the point. "I want to go to that secret library right now." Now? Just like that? What on earth is hidden there will be revealed soon. Wallen leads Levi to a fireplace, points forward, and says, "This is the place." This fireplace is the entrance to the library. Levi is stunned. "That's it? Isn't this just an ordinary fireplace?" Wallen continues to explain that as long as the air channels their mana into it, the hidden teleportation circle will open. He bows and gestures for her to proceed. "Miss, would you like to try it yourself?" What treasure of the Heron family, passed down for 600 years, must be hidden so carefully? Levi doesn't hesitate any longer and directly reaches out her hand. As soon as Levi's hand touches it, the gemstone suddenly glows brightly. This mana reaction is stronger than anyone imagined. As this light flares up, the 600-year-old secret of the Heron family is finally about to be revealed. Wallen, standing beside her, is overwhelmed with excitement. To witness this moment with my own eyes is truly an honor. I must report today's events in detail to the master. Seeing him so worked up, Levi smiles and reassures him. All right. There's no need to cry." Wallen bows from behind. "I wish you a safe journey." A flash of light and Levi's entire body is pulled inside. When she comes to her senses, the surroundings have completely changed. Levi is still a bit dazed. Did I make it in? Who would have thought that behind this fireplace, such a large space was hidden? This isn't a library. This is clearly another world. This place is unbelievably vast. With every step, she can feel an extraordinary aura. If this place is so well hidden, then there must surely be no shortage of documents about demons. After all, she is investigating the mark on Damian's body. This time, all the clues might just converge here. Levi becomes enthusiastic and, without a second thought, dives into her search. Determined to turn this place upside down, she randomly finds a spot to sit down. Whether she can find useful information all depends on her next discoveries. Levi opens an old book, which records a strange incident that occurred in the 457th year of the Empire. A demon snuck into a prison, attempting to forcibly possess a death row inmate. Just as the demon was about to succeed, it was suddenly attacked. As a result, the possession failed and instead, a strange mark appeared on the prisoner's body. The more Levi reads, the more something feels off. Why does the drawing in the book look exactly like the mark on Damian's body? No, that's not right. Damian's mark is clearly more complex and larger. It seems that if a demon's possession process is interrupted and fails to complete, it will leave this kind of mark. So, in other words, what exactly happened to Damian back then? If the mark is a part of the demon, then that demon from back then surely isn't completely dead. Levi can't sit still any longer. This thing on his body is like a ticking time bomb. How can it be removed? Turning the page, she finally finds a clue. The book records that by simply soaking the body in diluted holy water, the unlucky mark will begin to disappear, and the demon will be completely destroyed along with it. It seems there is a way to save him, but is it really that simple? The book says to soak in holy water. An overly stimulating image immediately flashes in Levi's mind. The image is so seductive that even she can't handle it and quickly shakes her head to clear her thoughts. Now is not the time for wild thoughts. Business is more important. The key problem is that holy water is not easy to come by. The method from the book, 200 years old, is basically. But Damian's first words extinguish her hope. Get something from the temple? You must be dreaming. Damian is exasperated. He lays his cards on the table. Holy water is the lifeblood of the central temple. In the entire world, only 3 priests are allowed to touch it. To make matters worse, all 3 of them have a deep-seated grudge against him. Trying to get the cure through official channels is a non-starter. Hearing this, Levi's heart sinks. It seems the method from the book is a bust before they can even try it. Just then, Damian suddenly changes the subject, saying it's not entirely hopeless. The goddess's Christmas week is coming up, during which a hunting competition will be held. According to his intelligence, the grand prize this year happens to be a small vial of holy water. Levi sees a glimmer of hope again. As long as they win first place, the mark on Damian's body can be cured. But in a competition of this level, winning the championship is no easy task. Damian declares that winning first place this time is a must. But the championship isn't that easy to win. Both princes are experts. If they face each other head-on, there's basically no chance of winning. Fortunately, this competition is a 2-person team format. The outdoor environment has many variables, so this could be an opportunity. But Levi feels even more dejected hearing this. She's notoriously the worst student in the academy. Pairing with anyone would just drag them down. Just as she's about to lose heart, a spark ignites in her mind. If a direct fight won't work, can they use other tricks? Levi comes up with an idea. She tells Damian to team up with the second prince. The moment she says this, Damian nearly jumps out of his seat. Forcing him to team up with that guy is the biggest joke in the world. Actually, Damian has his own calculations. Holy water is only 1 small vial in total. If he really teams up with the second prince, victory is certain. But how would he explain his need for the holy water then? What if that guy sees through him and exposes his secret? Levi cuts him off, stating directly, "The 2 of you absolutely cannot win, because this time, I've got first place in the bag." The moment she says this, Damian is completely stunned. A bottom-ranking, underachieving student is boldly claiming she'll win the hunting competition. Where does this confidence come from? Damian looks at her with disdain. With your stamina, you get breathless after 2 steps. What makes you so confident? You'll get first place? Levi is unfazed, telling him to just listen to her plan. After a secret discussion, Damian nods in agreement. Setting a trap to trip up the second prince. Can you really bear to do it? After all, your past feelings for him are known to the whole academy. But Levi is very open-minded. Since I've sworn to help you first, I must keep my word. Levi's bluntness catches Damian off guard. With a very serious expression, she says, "To me, you are the most important person." Actually, Levi is thinking to herself, once this is over, I can finally get rid of all this trouble. But how would Damian know that? His whole body freezes, his heart in turmoil, beating erratically. This feeling is something he's never experienced before. What on earth is happening? What's wrong? The footsteps sound unusual. Douglas is muttering to himself nonstop. This situation is not good at all. He has noticed that his master, Damian, has been acting like a different person lately. It's important to know that Damian was never like this before. Growing up without support, he survived. The deadly power struggles entirely on his own resilience, ensuring no one could get a hold on him. He forced himself to become a perfectionist, never leaving any room for error in his work. But that cold persistence is now beginning to waver. The old Damian was always tense like a drawn bowstring, afraid of making even a small mistake. But his recent state is truly like someone who has lost their soul. Douglas even wonders if the days at the academy have been too stifling, causing his master to change like this. He knocks on the door, intending to discuss the antique market they had mentioned earlier. But as the door opens, Douglas is completely stunned. Damian, who is always a loner, is actually hiding a woman, and it's Levi no less. This is truly intriguing. Damian's current appearance can be summed up in 2 words, lovesick, written all over his face. Douglas, standing beside him, sees it clearly. Is this really the same cold master? The situation is getting more complicated. Douglas chuckles to himself. Has his master finally blossomed? Being stared at, Damian feels incredibly awkward. He clears his throat twice to cover his embarrassment, saying they'll meet again at the martial arts tournament. It's clear he wants to quickly escape the scene. Levi maintains a calm expression, politely seeing him off, but Douglas seems a bit reluctant to leave. He hasn't had enough of his master's amusing predicament. He quickly strikes up a conversation, asking Damian why he's in such a hurry, even suggesting that Levi stay a little longer. Douglas is truly one to stir up trouble. His mouth has no filter. Before leaving, he doesn't forget to flatter Levi, telling her to visit more often in the future. Levi is also very polite and casually agrees. But Damian's face is so dark it could drip ink. He hasn't even left the room, and his subordinate is already making decisions for him. The door closes and Douglas becomes even bolder. He actually turns back and gives Damian a thumbs up, his eyes clearly showing he's taking credit. This time, Damian really can't hold it in anymore. His voice is ice cold. Douglas, what kind of devilish trick are you playing? Joking aside, there's work to be done. The two return to the study. Damian tells Douglas to continue the report he was giving earlier. Douglas drops his playful demeanor and begins reporting on what he found at the antique market. Douglas looks troubled, saying that finding that necklace will likely take more time. Damian can't sit still and directly asks what happened. It's not that Douglas isn't trying, but it's festival season and the merchants at the market change their stock 8 times a day. Finding something in this chaos is like finding a needle in a haystack. Damian doesn't care about these difficulties. He only gives a firm order. You must find it as soon as possible. It seems that necklace holds a very special meaning for him, to the point where he must have it at all costs. He doesn't care what price he has to pay. Douglas understands now. It seems the rumor is true. This necklace is indeed intended for that person. Douglas's mouth can't stay shut. He blurts out Damian's thoughts. This necklace is obviously a gift for a girl. It's the perfect token of love. Damian can't sit still any longer and quickly makes an excuse. That's a sacred relic of the goddess. How can it be given away so casually? To prove he's focused on his career, he even says cruelly that before ascending the throne, he will absolutely not let any romantic entanglements distract him. But Douglas doesn't fall for it. Instead, he sees his master is just embarrassed and deluding himself. He even praises Damian for being so romantic. That's it, the more Damian explains, the more it seems like he's hiding something. Douglas is convinced his master has fallen deep into the trap of love. Douglas's flattery skills are second to none. He says if he were a girl and received this necklace, his soul would surely be captivated. That treasure is indeed beautiful. No wonder Damian is so insistent on getting it. Time flies and Levi takes Ayla out on the town. Ayla, what do you think? Do you like it? Ayla smiles and says, I really like this place. In all her years, this is the first time she's lived in a house under her own name. Ayla not only won the lawsuit against the bank, but also successfully reclaimed all the inheritance her malicious uncle tried to swallow. Unexpectedly, this sum of money turned out to be more than 50 years of the Heron family's revenue. This isn't just getting her inheritance back. This is becoming a top-tier wealthy woman in one step. Watching from the side is dazzled. So this is the fortune of a great merchant. To be honest, who wouldn't be green with envy seeing this? Seeing Ayla finally overcome her hardships, Levi's heart is also filled with mixed emotions. She pats Ayla's head and says, "You've really had it tough. Being able to completely escape from that malicious uncle is better than anything." Hearing these words, Ayla can't hold back anymore and hugs Levi tightly. "It's all thanks to you." Although she now has a large house of her own, the thought of moving out of the Heron mansion still leaves a complicated feeling in her heart. After all, she's lived there for so long, and that bond isn't something that can be cut off so easily. Levi thinks for a moment and feels that since the new house needs cleaning and new servants hired, she might as well ask Ayla to stay at her place for another month. Hearing this, Ayla's spirits lift immediately. "Can I really stay a little longer?" Levi smiles reassuringly. "This can't be rushed. It's better to take it slow than to mess things up." Ayla is overjoyed now, holding Levi's hand tightly and suggesting, "In that case, Levi, let's go on a date today." A date? Levi clearly hasn't processed it yet. Why did this suddenly come up? Without further ado, Ayla takes Levi straight to the most luxurious restaurant in the city. Looking at the beautiful table, Levi doesn't know what to do. It's filled with exquisite dishes. Levi is stunned and can't help but ask, "How did you find this place?" Ayla smiles and replies, "Because this is where Levi always wanted to go." She had remembered it for a long time. Levi eats while worrying. This meal must have cost a fortune. But Ayla is very generous. As long as Levi enjoys her food, this small amount of money is nothing to her now. After a satisfying meal, it's not over yet. Ayla pulls Levi into a clothing store, insisting that she try on a new outfit. Levi doesn't know what to do, but she can't refuse and obediently goes into the fitting room. When Levi comes out, she looks like she's glowing. She shyly asks Ayla, "How do I look in this?" Ayla is completely captivated, her eyes fixed on Levi for a long time. She is so beautiful that words can't describe it. Who would have thought that Ayla's first words after snapping out of it would be to ask the staff to pack up all the custom-designed outfits in that section, along with all the accessories. Ayla points to the handbags next to them. "I'll take all of these too. And please remove the price tags." Levi, standing beside her, can't stop her. This isn't buying clothes. This is clearly a shopping spree. But Ayla suddenly stops. She turns around, her tone incredibly serious. "This little bit is not enough. It is not enough to express my feelings for you." These words, as soon as they are spoken, leave Levi completely speechless. Why did the atmosphere suddenly change like this? It doesn't stop there. Ayla's next words are truly irresistible. Ayla looks at Levi, her tone filled with possessiveness. "From now on, I want you to be dressed from head to toe in things I give you." This isn't giving a gift. This is clearly a declaration of ownership. Levi is likely trapped this time, about to be turned into Ayla's personal possession. The tone sounds intimate, but a sense of dread rises in Levi's heart. What is this familiar sense of pressure? Ayla points to the shop next door and asks if they want to go check it out. Levi has no way to refuse now and can only obediently carry the bags and follow. Just as Levi is carrying the bags, she walks past a display window, and something shiny catches her eye. She stops and takes a closer look. The items displayed in this window don't seem ordinary at all. Levi stops, her eyes glued to the notice. It turns out to be a special auction during the Goddess Christmas week. It seems it's being held again this year. Levi silently calculates, after all, the upcoming hunting competition requires some preparation. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that this auction house holds a shocking secret. Who would have thought that in that dark corner, a living person was locked up? Levi is staring at the notice in a daze when Ayla calls out from behind. "Levi, what are you doing there?" Levi is startled and quickly composes herself. Ayla comes over and asks, What's over there? Fearing she might give herself away, Levi quickly makes up an excuse. No, nothing, I just thought that necklace was beautiful. To prevent Ayla from becoming suspicious, Levi casually points into the display case. But Ayla takes it seriously and leans in for a closer look. The delicate pink gem on the necklace is indeed very eye-catching. Ayla can't help but exclaim, "Wow, it's really beautiful." Looking at the sparkling gem, Ayla seems to remember something. Ayla stares at the gem for a long time and suddenly says, "This color is exactly the same as Levi's eye color." Time flies, and soon it's late at night. Wallen stands outside the door and whispers a reminder, "Miss, the carriage has arrived." Levi replies, saying she's ready. She changes into a practical outfit and deliberately puts on a wide cloak. In the middle of the night, she's going out secretly. It seems she's determined to visit that auction house. Before leaving, Levi doesn't forget to ask one question: where is Ayla? Wallen explains that she was probably too tired during the day, so she fell into a deep sleep right after dinner. Although arrangements have been made at home, Wallen's heart is still pounding. Going to the black market alone at night is really too dangerous. If she needs to buy something, she could just send a servant. But Levi doesn't think so. She smiles. "The items for the hunting competition, I must go see them myself." Seeing Wallen still hesitating, Levi quickly reassures him. "Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Remember, absolutely do not let Ayla know about this." After giving her instructions, Levi leaves without looking back, heading straight into the night. This trip to the black market is destined to be anything but smooth. The carriage sways to a stop. The driver whispers a reminder, "Miss, we've arrived." Levi looks around the area. So this is the legendary black market. The lights are bright, but she always feels that this place exudes a sinister aura. To avoid drawing attention, Levi tells the driver to wait here. She intends to walk the rest of the way alone. She walks while muttering and checking the map. The entrance should be around here, but finding a door in the dark is not easy. Just then, there's a sound behind her. Levi freezes. Has she been targeted so quickly? Sure enough, two ruffians approach and surround her. The leader even puts on a gentlemanly act, asking, "A pretty lady like you, why are you all alone in a place like this?" Levi knows exactly what's going on. These guys are just thugs who specialize in robbing women. The man continues his fake sweet talk, saying this place is too dangerous and insisting on being her protector. Levi doesn't even bother to look up and coldly throws out one sentence, "Not needed." Seeing the other party still intends to harass her, Levi decisively lays her cards on the table. She directly draws the longsword from her side. "I know how to use a sword." Levi's action of drawing her sword immediately panics the thugs, who quickly scramble away and disappear. The trouble is resolved, but Levi's mind can't find peace. Looking into the dark night, her mind is filled with images of Damian especially. His signature black hair and the eyes that always stared at her. This is truly like seeing a ghost. Why is she thinking of that man at a time like this? Levi now feels completely unsettled. She quickly pulls her hood lower, trying to banish those ridiculous thoughts. That demon must have cast some kind of spell on her. Otherwise, why would he be haunting her at this moment? Levi mutters to herself. Although that Damian is quite annoying, she can't deny that his face is indeed very much her type. Great. She hasn't even gotten down to business, and half her soul has already been captivated. Fortunately, Levi hasn't forgotten her main purpose. She dives straight into the crowd of the black market. Here, everyone is a suspicious figure in a tightly wrapped cloak. No one recognizes anyone else, which is convenient for her to hide her identity. Levi stops in front of a stall. Her movements are swift and decisive, directly picking what she needs. In places like this, a quick strike is the way to go. With the item in hand, Levi doesn't want to linger for another minute. She pulls down her hood, turns, and disappears into the crowd. Her goal is achieved. There's no need to waste any more time here. But she has no idea if this trip to the black market can end so smoothly. After buying her things, Levi is not done yet. Her next target is that secret auction house. Seeing the heavily guarded entrance ahead, she's certain that's the place she's looking for. But before she can blend in, a large hand blocks her way. This won't be easy to get past. The guard looks at Levi with suspicious eyes. What are you doing here? Faced with the questioning, Levi shows no sign of panic. She calmly replies with the password, looking for a golden-studded iron horseshoe worthy of a white steed. As soon as this reason is given, the guard immediately steps aside, making way. However, before she leaves, he doesn't forget to make a sarcastic remark, saying the goods inside are not for the faint of heart and telling her to be careful not to get scared and run away. Levi pays him no mind. Walking through the long corridor, she finally enters the auction house. Looking at the crowd filling the room, the main event has clearly begun. Before she can get a clear view of her surroundings, a voice from the stage rings out. Perfect timing. Amidst the auction, where everyone has their own schemes, can Levi make a clean getaway? The auctioneer on the stage is hyping up the goods. First, he doesn't forget to flatter the guests. The next treasure will absolutely not disappoint you all. The atmosphere is pushed to a climax, and the main act finally appears. Who would have thought that this so-called rare item is a living person? The man, bound by iron chains, can only crawl onto the stage like an animal. The auctioneer even proudly calls him a fine specimen with a beautiful gray coat. This is the star of tonight, the fighting slave codenamed Gray. The crisscrossing scars on his body show what kind of life he has lived. This isn't treating him like a human, this is clearly selling a person like livestock. The auctioneer continues to advertise, saying he can do chores during the day and be used as a plaything at night. These words make Levi feel sick. She coldly observes everything, already having a plan. Just then, the man's aura suddenly changes. This is no obedient slave. Those eyes clearly belong to an untamed lone wolf. Who would have thought that the man chained before them has such a significant background? According to the original plot, he will be saved by the second prince and from then on become the most obedient hunting dog of the royal family. But no one knows that his true identity is the lost bloodline of a ducal family. Once this wolf's nature is unleashed, the entire empire will likely be shaken. According to the original script, this man will eventually die at Damian's hands. In his final moments, he miraculously regains his sanity, but waiting for him at that moment is the return of all his memories. The situation is truly like a song, a form of torture. Everything is too late. The scene shifts. Currently, he is standing barefoot on the stage, like a piece of merchandise for people to point at. Who would have thought that his future outcome would be so tragic? In a hidden corner, Levi is staring at this man. Having started over, she will absolutely not let that tragedy happen. In the original story, his fate is truly too tragic. And now, he is just like an animal. He almost scared the guards out of their wits. Unfortunately, as the chain on his neck tightens, he is violently jerked back. This pull clearly doesn't treat him as a human. The scene instantly becomes chaotic. Several guards rush forward, pinning him to the floor. They are truly ruthless. A needle is immediately plunged into him. The drug takes effect extremely quickly. No matter how capable he is, he can only be at their mercy. If Levi doesn't act, this wolf will truly fall into someone else's hands. Who would have thought that as soon as the needle goes in, the man immediately passes out? The crowd below whispers, suspecting this item is about to die. Seeing the situation is not good. The auctioneer hastily sets a starting price of just 1 gold coin. This is basically giving him away for free. He praised him as a top-grade hunting dog, but anyone with a discerning eye can see he's clearly a mad dog. Now the atmosphere in the hall immediately drops to freezing point. Basically, no one wants to be the fool to take on this burden. The auctioneer starts to panic. Is this item really going to be left unsold today? The crowd below is just watching the show. Who would spend money on a filthy and useless wreck? Some even think he brings bad luck. Looking at the man's state, the drug hasn't worn off yet. He can't even lift his head. Now the auctioneer is in a dilemma. Someone from below even chimes in, saying this kind of item should just be thrown into the pigsty. Just then, a voice suddenly rings out, "Wait." Steady footsteps advance straight to the front of the stage. The entire hall's attention immediately shifts towards that direction. Levi speaks up. "I'll take this person." Her attitude makes it clear she's not joking. Her determined expression to acquire this item makes the surrounding people very nervous. They're all surprised. Who would have thought that at this critical moment, someone who isn't afraid of death would actually step forward to claim him? Levi's footsteps silence the entire hall. No one expected her to dare touch this hot potato. Despite being chained, the ruthlessness in this man's blood has not diminished. The auctioneer stammers, hastily asking her how much she's willing to pay. Levi doesn't bother to hide her identity. She directly removes her hood. Her resolute demeanor immediately intimidates the entire hall. For gold coins. As soon as this price is announced, it's clear she is determined to take this man away. The deal is sealed, and the man is immediately dragged out and thrown onto a cargo cart like a piece of merchandise. The auctioneer is now very polite, approaching Levi to ask where she wants to take the man. Without looking back, Levi instructs him to pull the cart to the square, saying she has a carriage prepared there. This money was earned too easily. The auctioneer is already celebrating in his heart, thinking Levi is just a fool who got tricked. After all, 1 gold coin can buy a strong laborer. Yet, she directly threw out 4. But Levi thinks completely differently. She even feels this price is a bargain, a great deal indeed. Who would have thought that the pile of mud lying on the cart? It's hard to believe. His true identity is the rightful lord of a ducal family. Spending this money isn't just to find an assistant. She wants to pull this completely broken man up from hell. As long as she can safely return him to the ducal house, this debt of gratitude is worth much more than a few gold coins. At this moment, the true purpose of the gold coin is revealed. Levi isn't doing charity. She's finding herself the most solid support. As long as she can change the plot, she will be able to find the most solid support. After this certain death, no one will dare to touch her in the future. However, this man is not easy to deal with right now. Even though he's gagged, his will to resist has not been extinguished. But Levi is not afraid at all. She directly approaches and soothes him. "Be good now. It'll be all right." Unexpectedly, the man who was like a crazed wild beast just moments ago is actually calmed by her. This gentle approach of Levi's is truly effective. She softly promises she will never sell him, nor will she harm him. Her tone is like soothing a child. In a flash, the man has been brought to a room. Levi waves her hand, telling Wallen and the guards to step back for now. She has to handle the next part herself. If she wants to have a heart-to-heart, she must let him see clearly who his savior is. Levi casually pulls off the cover from his face. This man's injuries are indeed not light. At a glance, he looks like he's already dead, but Levi knows in her heart that once these wounds are healed, that face will absolutely stun everyone. Levi turns to instruct Wallen to quickly find a reliable doctor. Moreover, this matter must be kept secret and absolutely not be leaked. Wallen sighs but has to comply. After all, Levi is now much more mature and grown up than before. Considering the man's unstable mental state, Levi doesn't plan to remove his shackles. If he suddenly goes berserk and runs away, then all her previous efforts would be for nothing. She has to wait until his body has recovered a bit before Levi will personally interrogate him. The man finally wakes up. Levi, who has been by his bedside, greets him with a smile. The result almost makes him jump up in fright. Wallen, observing from behind, surely felt his heart leap into his throat. But Levi isn't fazed at all. She directly reaches out to soothe him, apologizing while actually wanting him to lie down quietly. After all, this man is quite capable. If she let him go now, it would be a real big trouble. Levi is still explaining, saying she didn't remove the chains because she's afraid he might suddenly go berserk and hurt someone. If he's really uncomfortable. It's not like she can't negotiate. Unexpectedly, the man voluntarily scoots closer. Like a little puppy seeking attention, nuzzling against Levi's palm. This reaction surprises her so much she doesn't know what to do. Seeing this submissive look, Levi can't help but laugh. It seems like a man's soft approach is truly more effective than a direct confrontation. Since the other party is being so obedient, Levi also takes the opportunity to continue soothing him. But she also wonders in her heart. Theoretically, this person's mental state shouldn't be this fragile. Looking at the gentle man before her, Levi already has a plan. Just saving his life is not enough. She can't just bring him a bowl of rice. One day, she must find a way to help him regain his memories. Levi whispers softly, "Sleep well, Aries." The anniversary of the goddess's descent has finally arrived. Bustling figures are everywhere. It seems the scale of this festival is not small at all. Ayla runs over with a basket. As soon as she sees Levi, she can't help but praise her, saying she looks especially beautiful today. Levi's outfit today is indeed different from usual. She radiates a bright and vibrant energy. Even so, Levi asks. Levi herself is a bit shy. She mutters softly, "It's just a hunting competition. Am I dressed a bit too much?" Seeing Ayla's excitement, it seems in everyone's eyes, Levi is the center of attention for the entire event today. Levi's outfit is truly impeccable, the perfect focal point. She even starts to worry that Levi's beauty will attract the attention of bad men. But Levi doesn't think much of it. She thinks that since today is a hunting competition, everyone will be focused on their prey, and they won't have time to stare at her. But Ayla thinks otherwise. She says besides the competition, many people have come specifically to cheer for Levi, like herself. In the middle of her sentence, Ayla suddenly takes out a small, exquisite box, asking Levi if she wants to accept it. This surprise gift catches Levi completely off guard. What on earth is in the box? Ayla opens the box, and inside is a sparkling pink gem. She says that last time they were out, she saw Levi staring at it for a long time, so she specially bought it. Levi is actually a bit embarrassed. At that time, she was clearly looking at the flyer next to it and didn't pay any attention to the necklace. But faced with Ayla's sincerity, she still acts very surprised and happy. Ayla personally puts the necklace on Levi's neck, praising how perfectly the stone's color matches her eyes. Looking at herself in the mirror, Levi also thinks this gift is a great match. She smiles and thanks Ayla. The atmosphere between the two becomes incredibly warm. After receiving the gift, Levi's first reaction is to worry about the cost. She's sure this thing wasn't cheap. But Ayla is very generous, saying that money isn't important. The crucial thing is that she felt this stone carries positive energy, so she absolutely had to give it to Levi. Levi is stunned. What energy? It sounds so mysterious. In the end, Ayla adds another sentence, saying this necklace will bring Levi good luck, even invoking the goddess's blessing as a guarantee. Just as Levi and the others are about to set off, on a tree-lined path in another direction, a carriage is swaying along. Damian sits alone in the carriage, looking extremely unwell. He lets out a soft curse, "Damn it." It looks like there's a serious problem with his body, even making him want to tear off the mark on his skin with his own hands. Damian is pressing down hard on his thigh, the excruciating pain flaring up again. It had been stable for a while, so why did it have to relapse at this moment? Freed, sitting opposite him, notices the abnormality and quickly asks if he's unwell. Damian tries to hold it in, making an excuse that he's just watching the weather, afraid it might rain later and ruin the hunting competition. Even he probably doesn't believe that. But Freed doesn't suspect a thing and continues the conversation. He says that with the two of them teamed up for this competition, there absolutely can't be any mistakes. Damian nonchalantly draws the carriage curtain. The The red mark on the back of his hand hasn't faded yet. He smiles and promises they will work hard together, but can his body hold out until the competition ends? Fried's radiant smile gives Damian a premonition that this isn't so simple. His hand tightens. The team-up is now set in stone. The more Damian thinks, the more something feels off. This is completely unlike Fried's usual style. To force him to participate, Fried actually leaked the news to the press beforehand. Now Damian can't refuse even if he wants to and can only go along with it. He looks at his brother, wondering what scheme he's plotting. Fried's recent actions are indeed too unusual. Damian can't help but wonder what secret lies behind this. Fried stares at Damian. Is this guy starting to act strange again? Damian doesn't answer, just gazes out the window. At this moment, Levi has arrived and is basking in the sun, stretching her limbs beside the carriage. Damian instantly freezes. How is this possible? Why is she here? This is big trouble. The situation is completely out of his control. Levi's appearance this time is aimed at the goddess's sacred relic. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly becomes solemn. The priest conducting the ceremony on the stage asks everyone to offer their most sincere prayers. The priest loudly declares that once this torch is lit, the competition will officially begin. As soon as the signal is given, everyone rushes into the forest like a swarm of bees, each wanting to claim the first victory. Levi lags behind, her steps clearly struggling. After all, this is a major event concerning the future of the Empire. Whoever takes the top spot will become the sharpest sword of the Empire. Levi's stamina really can't keep up. As she's worrying, a voice suddenly sounds from behind. The person who has arrived is Ivan, the heir of the Cass family, known as the Shield of the Empire. Levi is a bit surprised and asks why he hasn't set off yet. Ivan maintains a calm expression as if it's a matter of course, saying that his teammates, they should advance and retreat together. Though he says this in his heart, he is 10,000 times unwilling. Ivan mutters under his breath that he actually wanted to team up with the prince. Levi can only give a wry smile, standing beside him. As for how two people with completely opposite personalities could become a team, we have to go back to the moment the list was announced. Not long ago, the camp suddenly became noisy. It turns out the team assignments had been posted, and everyone rushed to see. This time, the first and second princes actually teamed up. With this powerful combination, the championship is likely already decided. But the biggest surprise is that Levi's name also appears on it, only the spot for her teammate is still blank. Just then, a harsh laugh sounds from the side. Ivan scoffs contemptuously. Whoever is on a team with her is truly unlucky for 8 lifetimes. In his eyes, Levi is just a burden. Ivan adds that being on a team with this cripple means not only coming in last, but also becoming a laughingstock for the whole country, even making the front page of the newspapers. He even says that if they aren't chased by a wild boar, it's a blessing of 3 lifetimes. These words, without missing a single one, all reach Levi's ears. Levi is indeed a bit awkward at this moment. This mess needs someone to clean it up. She smiles and approaches, saying she originally intended to team up with Ivan. The sword and shield of the Empire are truly a match made in heaven. This sentence leaves Ivan speechless. He can only let Levi claim him as a relative there. Levi hums a little tune as she leisurely follows behind. Her composure is as steady as a rock. Since it has come to this, let's just wait and see if the heir of the Cass family can carry her to victory. Ivan and Levi are following each other deeper into the forest. Levi suddenly calls out to him. She casually hands over a small vial. Lord Ivan, take this. Ivan looks at the item in his hand, completely baffled. What is this? Levi has everything planned out. This is a protective charm to lure prey. Being teamed up with a useless person like me is already a grievance for you. If we can't even see a shadow of prey, then today will be a complete waste of our efforts. Levi's sigh sounds like she lacks confidence. Ivan doesn't fall for it and immediately retorts, if we attract too much prey, with your stamina, can you handle it? Unexpectedly, Levi's tone changes, and she smiles as she proposes. Since we're already at it, why don't we make a bet? If we win, whoever catches more prey gets the prize. The provocative tone in her words is all too clear. Levi asks back, so, Lord Cass, are you confident? Since it has come to this, Ivan has no intention of backing down and directly accepts the bet. Fine, it's just a bet. The two of them enter the forest one after another. The bright sun is a bit dazzling. Ivan clutches the small vial in his hand. The more he looks at it, the more something feels off. This so-called protective charm is just a tranquilizer. Ivan laughs at himself. Since when did I fall so low as to rely on superstition to hunt? Although he complains, Ivan still hangs the vial at his waist. No one knows. But the scent emanating from this thing takes effect much faster than expected. Ivan still wonders to himself, how can a useless person who can't even catch a wild boar dare to bet with him? This is nothing short of an insult to him. Just then, a sound comes from the forest. The sound of rushing footsteps. A few wild boars, as if crazed, charge straight towards them. Ivan agrees. He slowly grips the hilt of his sword. If they want to compete, he must show some real skill. Ivan draws his sword from its sheath. He is determined to use the honor of a knight to crush Levi's pride. He is sure of victory. You just stay obediently behind. Tossing that line, Ivan completely ignores the danger before him. At this moment, his grandfather's teachings from long ago flash through his mind. He always said, our family is the shield of the empire. Our duty is to stand in front, not to wield a sword to kill. But the current Ivan has thrown all those old rules out the window. He feels his grandfather's theory is completely wrong. After all, only when protecting those who are worthy does the shield have meaning. This strike from Ivan is extremely decisive and clean. He wants to show Levi what true swordsmanship is. Levi watches coldly from the side. Ivan is suppressing a surge of anger. He wants to prove to everyone that he is absolutely not just a traditional shield of his family. And the result? The wild boar on the ground hasn't even gone cold, and Ivan is already showing off. He feels that he has already won this bet, but his smugness doesn't last long. A guttural roar suddenly echoes from the forest. Low and deep. This sound is clearly not on the same level as the small fries from before. The beast that emerges from the bushes is unbelievably large. Ivan is completely stunned. Just a moment ago, he thought he was sure to win, but now more and more wild boars are emerging from the forest. This is clearly like poking a hornet's nest. Levi watches the drama unfold from the side, even finding it quite interesting. She unhurriedly reminds Ivan, wild boars are fiercely protective of their young. You just killed one so gleefully, do you think its family will let you go? However, the credit for so many boars appearing must go to the specially made vial in Levi's hand. Ivan has completely fallen into the trap this time. If he wants to be a hero, he must first find a way to survive this boar stampede. This small, sparkling item is called a sprite's tear. In the black market, everyone thinks it's just a normal decorative item. But in reality, this thing has a fatal attraction for wild boars. With a little processing, it can make a herd of beasts go completely insane. Levi clearly knew this secret long ago. She deliberately sprinkled the powder around. It was to dig a big pit for Ivan. The result is just as it is now. Ivan is surrounded by a herd of boars with no escape. What worries him most now is losing face in front of Levi. Having gone too far to turn back, he is clearly struggling against the boars. Yet he still refuses to admit defeat. Ivan shouts loudly, "Stay out of it. This prey is mine." Hearing this, Levi finds it ridiculous. "Since you want to show off so much, I'll add fuel to the fire for you." Levi casually crushes the crystal in her hand. "All right, suit yourself." Levi wants to see. His life is on the line, yet he's still putting on a show. What trump card is Ivan hiding? As a result, Ivan can only grit his teeth and defend himself against the herd of boars. The beasts, stimulated by the drug, have gone completely mad. This time, Ivan is cornered. Seeing a boar about to charge, he finally stops posturing. With a whoosh, Ivan's entire demeanor changes. With a single swing of his sword, the boars that were frantically charging just moments ago are instantly sent flying by a powerful force. Levi, watching from the outside, sees it clearly. The moment he gripped the hilt of his sword, the mana within his body completely changed. This is getting interesting. Levi stares at the man before her. This power is not something an ordinary person can wield. This time, Ivan is really going all out. This is the defensive swordsmanship of the Cass family. As this sword strike is unleashed, the commotion is so great that even the ground trembles. Levi, who was intending to watch a good show, now has to admit that Ivan indeed has some skill. He has mastered the family's secret technique to perfection. The herd of boars is sent flying by the force, but Ivan is also thrown back painfully. He curses under his breath. Damn it. That move just now, though powerful, has a huge backlash. Ivan can't even hold his sword anymore. Ivan panics. My sword. But the boars don't give him a chance to breathe. The beast has locked its target and is charging straight at him. Ivan is now unarmed and can only watch as the enemy rushes towards him. This is the end of the road. In that hair-raising moment, a cold light flashes. The crazed boar is intercepted by someone else before it can reach Ivan. The beast that was charging aggressively just a moment ago is sent flying by a powerful force. The lifeline has finally appeared, but Ivan hasn't had a chance to breathe when a few more emerge from the forest. This time, he's truly helpless. Levi can't just stand by and watch anymore. If she continues to watch the show, he'll probably die here. She says with a smile, if you become the first unlucky one in the competition, won't you steal all the spotlight? So, need a hand? Levi and her flying sword arrived just in time. At this moment, Ivan is being targeted by a pack of monsters. The situation is dire. To be honest, she really wanted to let him suffer a bit. After all, this guy has lectured her more than once before. But she has to admit, Ivan is indeed much more hardworking than her. Her achievements today are entirely thanks to her innate talent. He was right to scold her for not practicing diligently. In that case, this person must be saved. Levi directs her flying sword straight at the monster. This strike from Levi is truly without mercy. With a whoosh, it pierces through the monster. He is truly stunned now. He probably never expected that the usually unreliable-looking Levi would be so fierce at a critical moment. With the thud of the monster falling, this crisis is finally resolved. Levi slowly walks over, looking at Ivan's dazed expression, feeling quite smug. All right, considering how pathetic you are today, I'll temporarily let go of our past grudges. Levi suddenly stops, stares at Ivan, and asks, "Are you injured?" Ivan, as expected, is the stubborn type. He turns his head away sharply. It's nothing. Levi is not easily fooled. You're bleeding all over and you're still playing the hero? She doesn't wait for him to ramble and directly grabs Ivan's arm. This action catches Ivan by surprise. He struggles and shouts, "What are you doing?" Levi snaps back in frustration, "Don't move." Then, she takes out a vial of medicine and pours it directly onto Ivan's profusely bleeding wound. The medicine must be very strong, making Ivan grit his teeth in pain. Levi's movements are very fluid. She tears a piece of cloth and starts bandaging him. As she works, Levi says, "The wound isn't deep. The bleeding should stop soon. I have to say, your family's defensive arts are truly formidable." Hearing this, Ivan becomes suspicious again. "Are you mocking me for only knowing defensive arts?" Levi laughs helplessly. "Why are you so negative? I never thought that." She looks directly into Ivan's eyes and says seriously. This unexpected confession leaves Ivan completely speechless. As Levi bandages him, she continues to praise his swordsmanship. "That defensive art is something you achieved through your own hard work. You should be proud of it." Seeing Ivan's silence, Levi seriously adds, "I'm not just being polite. That move just now was really cool." In the end, Everyone has their own strengths. After finishing the last rap, Levi casually pats his shoulder. Done. This guy just can't sit still. As soon as his wound is treated, he's shouting about catching the next prey. But when he turns around, Levi notices something is wrong. Ivan's condition looks extremely unusual. Levi is puzzled. It's not cold, so why is his face so red? The hunting festival has finally ended, but the atmosphere at the camp seems a bit off. The cargo carts are all empty. After a whole day, many people didn't even catch a glimpse of a monster. Even Damian and Freed returned empty-handed this time. Freed can't stop complaining. He had planned to cooperate with his brother, thinking they could surely get a high rank, but it turns out they were just running errands for others the whole time. Just then, Levi and Ivan stumble back. Judging by Levi's stretching, she must be exhausted. Compared to those who came back with nothing, their trip was not in vain at all. He says there will be other chances, but looking at Damian's back, he starts to feel suspicious. He suddenly realizes something. Damian had no intention of hunting today at all. He even deliberately slowed down his progress. It turns out his cold-faced brother didn't come to the mountain for any competition. What on earth is he looking for? Freed thinks. And the more he thinks, the more it feels wrong. Damian's behavior in the forest today was clearly not for hunting. His distracted look was clearly for searching for something else. While Freed is lost in thought, a sudden uproar erupts from the camp. Everyone rushes over, pointing at a carriage. This carriage is piled high like a small mountain, all with high-level prey. The onlookers are stunned, all guessing which expert could catch so many beasts in this awful weather. Now the truth is out. The monsters in the forest were all taken by this team. No wonder the other teams couldn't catch anything. Then, the referee loudly announces the results. Today's champion team is Levi and Ivan. As soon as this news is announced, the whole place erupts. Who could have thought that the combination of these two could generate such terrifying power? Levi acts very naturally on the stage, waving and smiling. In contrast, Ivan, standing next to her, looks quite awkward. The audience below is still whispering. This achievement is truly beyond imagination. The number of prey Levi's team caught is double that of Freed's second-place team. This wasn't hunting, this was clearly collecting goods. As soon as this result was announced, the stands exploded. Someone immediately shouted, "It's impossible." Did they cheat? The organizers quickly stepped up to deny it, saying they had thoroughly checked. Their achievement is 100% real, without a single shred of deceit. Levi is filled with joy, waving and smiling brightly on the stage. In contrast, Ivan, standing beside her, still looks as silent as a clam. At this moment, the temple priest approaches the stage with a bouquet of flowers and says to Levi, "Miss Heron, congratulations to you both for winning the championship." The priest continues to announce that the commemorative medals and the prizes prepared by the temple will be officially awarded at the upcoming ball. Levi radiantly accepts the bouquet. "Thank you." The cheers from below grow louder, the scene more lively than a festival. Freed stands below, watching this scene with mixed feelings. The championship he thought was in his grasp has now slipped away. Damian maintains his cold expression, not saying a word. No one can guess what he's thinking. Levi stands on the high platform, glowing brightly. This time, she has become the center of everyone's attention. Damian, who always maintains a calm expression even if the sky were falling, is now acting extremely unusual. His whole body is stiff, unable to utter a single word, clearly struggling to suppress some intense emotion. This has been fully captured by Freed, who is standing right next to him. He has no intention of letting this detail slide. He probingly looks at his older brother, likely already having an answer in his mind, with a wait-and-see expression.